English made easy. Hey guys! Bored of those vocab lists? Me too. At 1 Degree North Companion, we're turning wordly wise into an adventure to make learning actually interesting. Let's jump in. Book 3. Lesson 11.
Have you ever stopped to think about how just a handful of words can tell someone's entire life story? I mean, not just as definitions in a dictionary, but as real-life milestones, challenges, and, triumphs. Today, we're going to step into the world of a firefighter, and we're going to understand her journey through the very words that shape her reality. So, picture this. It's late. The firehouse is completely still, just bathed in the soft glow of a single lamp. There's this sense of peace, but it's like a coiled spring, just full of readiness. This is that quiet moment, the breath you take before everything, and I mean everything, changes in a flash. And then, it happens. A blaring alarm, a flash of red light that just shatters the calm. And in all that chaos, one word defines absolutely everything: primary. This is a firefighter's primary duty, to answer that call. It's the first thing, the most important thing. It overrides everything else, no question. And you know, baked right into that primary duty is another word you just can't separate from it: risk. The chance of harm, of danger. To be a firefighter is to accept that every single call involves an immense amount of risk. It's not just a possibility, it's a certainty of the job.
So who is the kind of person that answers this call? Who willingly chooses to step into that risk as their primary duty? Well, every story has a beginning, and this one starts with a woman named Kristen Hartman. She's the firefighter whose life gives these words their true, powerful meaning.
Her journey actually started with a single word: vacant. Kristen heard about vacant positions at her local fire department. And what's so fascinating is where this word comes from. It's from the Latin vacere, which means to be empty, and that's the very same root that gives us the word vacation. For Kristen, this empty space wasn't just a job opening. It was an open door to a whole new life. But answering that call meant facing an 8-week training course that was, to put it mildly, vigorous. We're talking hauling heavy gear up endless flights of stairs, pushing every single physical and mental limit you can imagine. The word itself comes from the Latin vigere, to be lively or strong, which is just the perfect description of the strength you need to even begin this journey.
After all that vigorous training, Kristen accomplished something truly remarkable. In a department of nearly 1,000 firefighters, she became only the 4th woman to be hired. Let that sink in for a second. Just the 4th.
And this is the moment it all comes together. The word graduate. It marks the end of the brutal training and the beginning of a profession. This is the moment Kristen transformed from a civilian with a dream into a full-fledged fighter, ready for whatever was coming next.
But you know, graduating is just the first step. The training ground is one thing, but a real fire scene, that is a whole different kind of test. It's a test not just of your body, but of your mind. Your ability to think critically and quickly under pressure that most of us can't even imagine.
So, what's the most critical thing? Preparation. Before rushing into a burning building, you absolutely need a plan, and that's where a diagram becomes one of your most important tools. It's why when Kristen visits schools, she really hammers home the need for an escape plan, a diagram of your house showing at least 2 ways out of every single room. It's basically your map to survival.
But here's the thing about fire. It's chaos. It can frustrate even the best-laid plans by blocking exits and creating dangers you didn't expect. But for Kristen, the most frustrating part of the job isn't a fire that fights back. It's something else. A false alarm. A call that needlessly risks everyone's lives and wastes precious time and resources. That kind of frustration just piles on top of the already immense pressure on scene. In that environment, every second counts. Every single decision is critical. And the weight of that responsibility is just constant. And that constant pressure, that weight, it has a name: stress. The mental and emotional strain is just incredible. So how do they deal with it? Well, back at the firehouse, they rely on camaraderie and humor. You always hear stories about the pranks they play on each other. It's their way of decompressing, of bonding, and managing the weight of it all.
But we have to be really clear about something. There's a critical line that can never be crossed. Calling a false alarm a prank is just wrong. It's not a harmless joke. It's a dangerous act that can stop a department from getting to a real emergency, and that can have absolutely devastating consequences.
So much of this job is about controlling dangerous impulses with discipline and training. And that brings us to a danger we all face at home, and the word urge. You know, that strong, immediate instinct to just do something. Kristen often talks about one really specific and dangerous urge, the one to throw water on a grease fire. She urges everyone to fight that impulse with everything they have.
So, what do you do? Okay, listen up, because this is simple and it could literally save your life. First, never ever use water. It will make the fire explode. Second, safely cover the pan with a lid. And third, turn off the heat. By covering it, you cut off the air supply and the fire has nowhere to go.
You know, when students ask Kristen what it really takes to be a good firefighter, she boils it all down to this one sentence. It's just such a powerful summary of the physical courage and the mental toughness the job demands, stated as clearly as it can be. When you look at it, Kristen's story really brings us full circle. It shows us that these words we've been looking at, primary, risk, vacant, vigorous, they aren't just vocabulary words on a list. They are chapters of a life. They're experiences, lived at the highest possible intensity. I mean, when you trace her path, you see her entire career written in these words. It started with that vigorous training, which allowed her to become a graduate, and that prepared her to face the incredible stress of the job and to willingly accept the risk that comes with every single call. And all of that leaves us with a final thought, a question to ask ourselves. Kristen Hartman found her primary purpose. So the question for us is, what is your primary goal, and what risk are you willing to take to achieve it?
Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. I'll see you in the next one.